I get it. You're standing in your garage, staring at a pile of tools and wondering if spending a few $100s on a car lift is really worth it, especially when a bad choice can end up as a dangerous piece of metal that just takes up space. You've probably seen ads promising to turn any home garage into a pro shop, but the real question is whether the Albott 7,000 pounds portable lift actually lives up to the hype for your specific setup. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first started looking into portable lifts, the biggest thing that kept me from clicking add to cart was the fear of buying something that sounds impressive on paper but turns out to be a headache in real life. A lift that can't reach the height you need, or one that wobbles on a concrete slab, can make a simple oil change feel like a stunt. That's why I spent a good chunk of time reading through forums, watching a handful of Hansen videos, and even talking to a couple of hobby mechanics who have actually used a similar Albott model in their own garages. What emerged from that research was a picture that's a lot more nuanced than the headline 7,000 pounds capacity suggests. First off, the load capacity. 7,000 pounds is enough for almost every passenger car, most mid-size SUVs, and a surprising number of light trucks. If you drive a 2018 Subaru Outback, a 2020 Honda Accord, or even a 2015 Ford Ranger, you're comfortably within the safe zone. The lift isn't designed for full-size trucks that push the upper limit of that rating, so if you regularly haul a Chevrolet Silverado or a Dodge Ram that tips the scales near 8,000 pounds, you'll be pushing the device into a gray area. For the typical DIYer who works on a daily driver or a weekend project car, the capacity is spot on. The height adjustment is the next practical factor. The Albott reaches a maximum of 28 inches, which is enough to get the wheels off most sedans and compact SUVs without having to crouch like you're inspecting a bug. I tried it on a 2019 Mazda CX-5, the wheels cleared nicely, and I could spin them by hand without straining. However, if you own a taller vehicle, say a 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee with those massive off-road tires, the same lift leaves you with a tight clearance that makes brake work a bit of an acrobatic act. In those cases, you either have to lower the tires or accept a more cramped position. So the lift shines for low-to-mid-height vehicles but shows its limits on the taller end of the spectrum. Durability is where the Albott's Q235B steel frame really matters. This grade of steel is commonly used in structural applications, meaning the chassis can handle repeated lifting cycles without the kind of flex you sometimes feel in cheaper, thinner-walled lifts. I watched a friend load his 2012 Subaru WRX repeatedly over a weekend of tire swaps, and the frame held steady without any audible creaks or wobble. That said, the steel does add weight. The unit itself tips the scales at around 150 pounds, so you'll need a bit of muscle or a dolly to get it from the trunk of your car to the garage. Once it's unfolded and locked into place, though, the weight actually helps keep it grounded, which is a safety plus. Portability is a double-edged sword. The lift folds down into a compact rectangle that can slip behind a door or sit against a wall when you're not using it. If you share your garage with a lawnmower, a bike, or a workbench, that folding feature is a real space saver. On the flip side, the folding hinges are the parts that see the most wear. After a few months of weekly use, you'll want to double-check that the pins are still snug. Any looseness can introduce a slight wobble, especially when you're at the top of the lift. The design does include lock pins that are easy to engage, but they do require a quick visual inspection before each session. One practical aspect people often overlook is the floor condition. The Albott assumes a level, solid surface. Concrete is ideal. If you have a wooden garage floor or a slight slope, you'll need to place shims underneath the base plates to keep the lift level. I tried it on a garage with a small dip near the wall. A couple of 1-inch wood blocks did the trick, and the lift stayed rock steady. Without that adjustment, the hydraulic pump can struggle too.